Hey everyone, John Henry here, slingshotfutures.com, and welcome to the Market Mindset, where we dig into the reasoning behind the moves today so that we can better understand tomorrow. And this time around, we're taking a look at the S&P 500, the old big daddy of the markets, right? Now, the S&P 500 is generally a fairly slow market. That's just kind of the way that it is. There are so many market participants in the S&P that it takes a while to get moving. Now, yesterday, if we look at the overall move, we had a very slow start to the morning, very reminiscent of gold, if you watched the Market Mindset video yesterday, with a huge breakout. And that massive breakout pushes all the way up. It fills the overnight gap into the yesterday move. Then they fall all the way back down. Now, we initially were, thinking maybe this was going to be a flag, but then it broke down and aggressively drove lower. Every sign in this case starts pointing to a range with a very slight, very, big emphasis on slight, but a slight emphasis on the bull side with the higher lows and the higher highs that we were seeing. We open up today with a big gap higher from the yesterday close, but we managed to completely fall apart. They open up, big gap up, they close directly on the prior high of day level. Little bit of a concern, maybe they're holding it, maybe they're not, and then they solidify their decision right here. Massive drop lower back through that prior high of day into continued bearishness all the way back down. Now, notice one big thing here. This strong push down, they didn't fill the gap. They came very close, but they didn't fill the gap. And that's a big clue, because if we look across the other markets, the Dow, the NASDAQ, etc., they had already filled the gap. So there was a little bit of a correlation in that the S&P, it's lagging a little bit behind. So there's a good chance that we're going to see the S&P roll back over and finish that job off for a beautiful sell into the move, attempting to drive the market down. And once it finishes the move, it hammers lower with aggression, allowing even more selling pressure from the sellers in this case, looking for larger objectives. The larger objective may be the prior lows. It may be the rising support is the wedge bottom. Either way, though, we know that there is still more downside left on the table, and we need to continue selling. So it offered up another nice sell, another nice sell, another nice sell, all the way back down to finish that objective off. Once they finish the objective, notice all of the wicks starting to come in. We find an area that now scalpers may be looking for a quick little bounce here for a move back up. Just a quick little bounce, though. You're not looking for a full reversal. That doesn't happen very often. But you're looking for all of the sellers who've been selling this whole way down. They're going to want to take profit in an obvious area of support. And what better place than a huge wedge low or a prior swing low, all stacking up in the exact same place. And it's a beautiful place to become a quick short-term buyer for a scalp, to turn it back around and then sell once again to drive the market back lower. And now, these aren't part of the trades of this video, but we are looking like we're starting to form a little ascending wedge, maybe a bull flag, for a possible secondary breakdown for another run to the lows. But they have to get through this rising area of support. Otherwise, it's a really big red flag, and they're going to have a hard time getting it lower. So lots of selling pressure still on the table, but they need to follow it up for the further move down. And that's going to do it today. So really good example of going along with the trend, understanding what's happening and who has the stronger probability, and sticking with that probability and executing the plan accordingly. So that's going to do it for this one. If you have any questions about it, you can always send me an email, jbrink@slingshotfutures.com. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found it useful, and we'll see you next time.